You're listening to the Game Tenants Podcast.
Howdy ho, and welcome to the Game Tenants Podcast, the failed adventures of two gamers and their quest for Gamecast stardom. This is episode 63, and I am Church of the Game Grinder, and as always, joined by my excellent co-host, Justin, Cardboard Zero. What's up, man?
Not too much. It's a wonderful Sunday. We're a little late on this, but that's my fault. Blame me. This week, we're going to touch a little bit on some Deltarune news that we talked about in the previous podcast. We got some Fallout 76 discussion, which I know you guys are all holding your breath for. And clearly, some Diablo news, whether you see it as a good thing or a bad thing. That'll be up for you to decide. But we're going to talk about all that and more on this week's podcast. But before that, as we always do, and as we always does, Church, how the hell have you been, man? And what have you been up to?
I have been excellent, and kind of like the living incarnation of that meme of why can't I hold all these lemons, which is why can't I hold all these games as of late, because I've been playing so many games, which is awesome.
So many games.
But first, I just wanted to mention and shout out Corpse Slug Gaming. As I mentioned, he was coming down to visit. He came down to visit, and it was a excellent time. He hooked me up with some games, which I am currently working on a pickup video to share what I got. It's ridiculous. He is ridiculous, and I appreciate all the hookups he got me. Related to one of that is kind of a spoiler to the pickup video. I haven't shared anything about social media. I was just going to do the video and kind of say, hey, fun. Not that many people probably care, but we did kind of, I'm going to put quotations around this and say trade, where wasn't really much of a trade. It's completely one-sided to my benefit, but through Jason, I am now a proud owner of a PlayStation VR, which is super sick. And with that,
what kind of trade did you all do?
yeah. And the box of games, the box, when I say box, I mean a box of games that I got from him too. We'll get to that in the video when I get that out. But so I've been doing some like VR stuff finally. Like I played a little bit in the past, but been playing some Rush of Blood, the Until Dawn kind of on-rail shooter game. Superhot Vr, which is freaking amazing. I don't know. Are you familiar with Superhot, Justin?
No, I can't say that I have.
Superhot is you can play it without VR, and basically what it is you are a dude in like a first-person view, and essentially the objective is to kill the other people that are coming at you. They're trying to kill you, and they're these like anonymous figures. They're just these red. I mean, they're humanoid in form, but they're just like red. I mean, that's all there is. There's no definition. They just look like red people.
What kind of like the old Virtue Boy kind of red?
Kind of like all the background and everything is like all the scenery is white, so it's very kind of looks I don't know how abstract, but you know it's realistic looking, but just all textures are white. The enemies are red, and objects are black. Objects are things like guns or throwing stars or glass bottles or innocuous things, and you have to take out these dudes. But kind of the thing with this game is as you move, time moves. So if you don't move, time doesn't move.
Oh yeah, I think I remember seeing something like that. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
It's very much like you're playing like, it's like almost like, think of something like from the Matrix, where as you move you can punch a guy, but then time's moving. So the other guys are coming at you. Sometimes they're shooting guns. Like if you shoot a gun, like time moves really quick for like a couple seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you are like you playing this game like you are Neo, Like it's,
Nice.
in VR, it's amazing. Like next time you come over, you have to check this out in VR.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's fucking sweet. Checked out some other VR stuff, like the Last Guardian demo, which wasn't much of anything, just kind of like a little playthrough of a section, essentially in first person. It's kind of neat. And I looked at some of the like free demo stuff. Like a lot of people are talking about this. It's like a Playroom VR, and it has a bunch of mini games you can check out, like this robot rescue, I think it was the name of it, which a lot of people are like, this game's super cool. I just had the demo of it one level.
Is it the one where you're like you're a robot shooting other robots? You can like grab them, throw them in the air, and punch them.
Yeah, you can control a little robot as he runs around, and then you can like collect coins and stuff too. It's pretty interesting. It's fun. It's cute, and I will probably check out more eventually. But I have a few games to play for now. Good start. But then kind of going back to Corpse Light coming down, we also visited we got a local arcade in Minneapolis called the Up Down, which is essentially a retro arcade, all retro games stuff. They got the classics, they got Simpsons, they got, Ninja Turtles, the arcade game, Turtles in Time, so on and so forth, Pac-Mans.
All the good ones.
Yeah. I was kind of disappointed that they didn't have Lucky and Cash anymore, which is a 2-player, like it's one person drives and shoots and the other person shoots. Yep. Really cool game. They don't have it anymore, which is a bummer, but yeah, did that.
Wait, what did you call the game?
You
call it Tango?
Cash.
Oh,
Lucky and Cash.
I thought you called it Tango and Cash.
Tango and Cash is
the movie.
Is a classic as far as I'm concerned. I'm a big fan of that movie, as corny and cheesy as it is.
It's I thought it was it's Lucky and Wild, isn't it?
Lucky and Wild, thank you.
Yeah, I was like, wait, why does he keep saying Tango and Cash? Like, or then you're like Lucky and Cash. Like, yeah. No, it's Lucky and Wild.
Lucky and Wild, thank you.
Yeah.
But other than that, for gaming, still playing Red Dead 2. Played a little Fallout 76, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. I just kind of want to save that for its own thing, as well as Deltarune. Also played through that. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a bit here, but then I just want to give a couple like mentions to some video stuff. So I did put out an unboxing video for the Fallout 76 Power Armor Edition, and then I got nominated as a YouTuber of the Month candidate on Russ Lyman's channel. If anybody is familiar with him, I would say go check out the video and vote for one of the other people, because they're far better YouTubers than I. Chris, the old ass retro gamer, was also nominated. I say vote for him, but also back in the day gamer as well. So yeah, so that's what I've been up to. What have you been up to, man?
Well, let's see here. Obviously, no one had to guess hard. Final 14. I finished up the Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Excellent.
On the Requiem. So, of course, when you get the Chrism sword, the one you just push a button and all those blades come out, you're just like, do I even have to try? Like,
it's such an awesome sword, though.
Like, I almost don't want to use it just because it makes the game just, you can blindfold yourself and beat the game, by accident. And I don't like that. So I will do my best to go back and forth between the Alucard sword just because it attacks faster, but, kind of still have to play the game. What
did you think the difficulty throughout the whole game was amped up?
No, I was reading the comments and one of the other people, they're like, oh, I never noticed it. I was like, well, I just, maybe it was just me, or maybe I'm just getting old. I'm just like, oh man, old timer getting old in these games. But no, it seemed to, like I say, after I got after past Doppelganger, it kind of went back to normal, I guess would be the best way to say it. But
it's also like around the time when you get the Chrysogrim, though, too, isn't it?
No, you don't get the Chrysogrim until the Upside Down Castle.
Okay.
Because you have to kill those little, like, floating dead heads. They're called shmoos.
Oh, right.
So it's on the Upside Down Library.
Shmoos.
Yep, because it's they actually have an achievement for it. It's playing on Shmeezy or Schmoozy mode. So
nice.
yeah. But yeah, no, like I say, always a joy to go through Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Makes me just want Bloodstained more and more and more. Like, come out.
Yes. And apparently I was mistaken. I thought the Symphony of the Night was the PSP version of the game, correct?
Yes, it was that translate. It was that.
And
Yeah,
I thought the PSP version of the game you could play as Maria, but apparently she's not in the PSP version.
yeah. So that's what I thought too.
So bummer. Like my dreams are dashed of playing as Maria.
Yeah, that's just how that's how she goes. That's how she goes sometime, Ricky. Sometimes she goes, sometimes she don't. Then also shall we call it bathroom time? I broke out the old 3DS and I've been playing a little Final Fantasy Theater Rhythmia.
Cool.
So if people don't know what that is,
is that? I mean, would you recommend that one?
So I could see how some people are like, "Oh, I'm so over the beat games," because I mean, it only has 3 basic functions. You either tap the circle, you have to swipe your stylus in the direction, so it might be like an up direction, down. You just have to, as it's passing the line, you swipe it, or you press when it's a long green bar. You just press and hold. That's it. Like, that's the extent of the tapping. It's not like you get all crazy, but if you like Final Fantasy music, and I do, I love it. I suggest it to people who like it because it's like, okay, you can sit there and listen to the soundtrack while you're tapping along. I mean, you can put, if you don't even want to try, put it, because you have easy, hard, and expert. Put it on easy. You can just tap. And they put like there's 3 types of scenarios because you have like a combat. So you like all your characters level up. So you get experience, you get items, you can combine your items to make crazy items. So it's not just all for show. Like, there's adventures you can go on. Well, I'm sure at one point you could go online and play with other people. So there's a lot to do in the game, and there's tons of characters. So would I suggest it for people who love the music? Yes. I have both Theater Rhythmia and Curtain Call, and I wish they'd make another one. I don't know what they could add to it because there's already a boatload of songs on there from almost every game they've made. So
okay, cool. Because I think I see that go on sale often on the Square Enix site. They do their big sales, and I've always looked at it and I was like, I don't know. But I think I do remember you saying that if you're a fan of the music, that I should check it out. So I think I'll have to.
And if people are wondering, if they're like, well, which one should I buy? I would go Curtain Call. It's the same thing. It just has more characters and a lot more songs. Most of the songs from the first Theater Rhythmia are in there. So, okay. And then they also have a little pay store. So there's certain songs that are downloadable. Like they have a couple Chrono Trigger, Secret of Mana, which really surprisingly, they have some Seiken Densu 3 songs on there too. So that was kind of cool. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's very entertaining. I highly suggest it if you don't mind basic. It's like I say, it's a great bathroom killer. Like, I'm gonna take a deuce here for 10 minutes. Pump out 2-3 songs.
Sure.
So, yeah. I actually. So it took a while. I thought I was almost gonna have to contact the guy. Not too many people know this, but a couple of my friends do. I think I'm trying to. So I'm trying to have all white Sony consoles. So I have I had to buy a Japanese PS4 white. And I know some people are like, oh, you could have bought the Destiny. Like, no, I don't want decals or any type of image printed on there. So I have my white PS4. I have a white PS2 Slim with imported bone white Japanese controllers, because before we ever got white consoles, we could only get the accessories white. So I have like a 15-year-old or whatever, 10-year-old PS2 Japanese controller. But
nice.
I finally got a white Vita a couple months ago. Obviously, a PS1, the closest you can get is to the actual like PS1, the one that had a little TV attachment.
Yep.
And then I found a guy on one of the Facebook groups that was from Japan, and he was selling a bunch of stuff, and he had a white PSP.
Ooh.
The only one we got in America was the Star Wars one, where the front's white, but then on the back there's a black Darth Vader silhouette. And I was like, cool, don't get me wrong, I love Star Wars, but I want all white. I don't want any, like I said, I don't want any graphics or anything on it. So the guy sold it to me shipped for I think it came up to like $45. Works great.
Nice.
And then even though it's a Japanese PSP, much like Sony consoles, you just turn the language to English and boom, you're good to go.
Sweet.
So all I had to do is pop up my memory card from my old black one, pop it in this one. Everything works great. I played a couple games to make sure the CD drive or the optical drive worked good, and it does. So, bam, now a mutual friend of ours, Ryan, I don't know why he did this, but he traded out some of his stuff and got me a white super slim PS3. So whenever he gets off his lazy bones and brings it to me, I can transfer I can transfer all my data to the white one, and he can have my black super slim, and my all white consoles will be complete.
Is the white super slim an import?
Nope.
Oh.
No, they had red ones. I have a black one.
I've seen the red one.
Yep. And then or unless it is, and I don't know about it, but I'm pretty sure they did make a white one. They call them Glacier White or whatever. So.
Sweet.
Yeah, that was my, well, it was here last weekend, but I was gone last weekend. So the mail, like for whatever reason, when the postal service delivers it, and if you're not home, because I've had this, like some of my anime figures or my Mega Dementia or my Neptunia statuettes, when they come from overseas, if you're not there to receive them, they just leave a slip saying, you have to come pick this up. It's like, it's not a bomb. Just give me my package. It's nerd stuff.
Sure.
Like, you can clearly see the paperwork is all in Japanese and it's from Japan. And like, it just, I don't know why it is. International packages, they make you go pick it up if you're not home. So I had to go pick it up Tuesday because Monday was Veterans Day. And I was like, I'm going to go pick it up. And my boss was like, you can go bang on the door. It's Veterans Day. They're closed. I'm like, oh. So. Otherwise than that, yeah. And then I've been putzing with Dragon Quest 11 a little farther now. So
sweet.
I'm loving every minute of it. I know. I feel bad that I'm the biggest fan ever, and I'm like, I'm not even halfway through. Yeah, there you go. But I did learn. I'm sorry I'm taking so long in this section, guys. Just one last thing. I could be in new topics, but And I don't know if you are. Do you like Minecraft type games? Like, did that appeal to you at all?
Not so much. I don't have anything against them. They're just not like the building games aren't really my thing. Like stuff like Terraria and, like you said, Minecraft and Dragon Quest Builders.
Yep. Well, I think I hope I saw what I saw. It was more of like a passing thing on a website. I think they're going to release a Dragon Quest Builders 2. And I was like, yes!
Yep. I think I heard.
I have no idea when it's releasing. I have no idea. I just saw that. I was like, number 2. I'm like, yes, I love number 1. And I do not. I'm like you. I've never played Minecraft. I've watched plenty of friends play it, but it was like, great if you like it. Not something, because I'm way too like, oh, I'm gonna build this. Never mind. I can't make decisions like that. But Dragon Quest Builders had a story. So
yeah, Dragon Quest Builders is one that I might. That seems like it has a little bit more direction in it.
Yes, it does. Yep.
It's like objective based, and it did look really fun. I remember Daria did a video on it, and it was like, okay, actually, that looks really cool.
And there's lots of combat. Like, you are meant to improve your weapons and armor, so it's not just creepers or whatever out. Like, nope, you have bosses to fight, and it's a lot of fun. If you want a taste of it, and you want to borrow it, I can certainly borrow number 1 to you.
Cool. All right, so then retro game highlight.
I get to talk more.
Yes, talk a little bit more. So just for anybody tuning in, we highlight a retro game because we tend to talk about more modern, and this is our way of including retro. Last time I talked about, I can't remember. Jeez.
The Skitchin or Skitchin.
Oh, Skitchin. Skitchin for the Sega Genesis. Your road rash on rollerblades.
That's awesome.
So what you got for us this time?
So this game might not be known by people. Obviously, as you guys know, I like RPGs, like them a lot. I've been playing them since I was a wee little lad. So my retro highlight is going to be a game on the Game Boy called Mysterium. And what this was, I can't think of it. It's not Wizards and Warriors on the Nintendo. It's like the old D&D games, those like hallway RPGs, like Eye of the Beholder. Yeah. Dungeon Master on the Super Nintendo, those type where it's first person, but it's all like you can either go forward, left, right, or backwards, and then you have to like interact with like click that block, pick up the key. This is what that game plays like. It's first person. But the combat, I like, it's real-time combat. So all your weapons that you pick up are projectiles. So you actually like shoot out a little ball or whatever. You know, obviously it'll be like, oh, you have a staff, and now you have a flaming wand. You know, your attack power goes up as you get better stuff. But what was really cool is you traverse these labyrinths. You know, it has an auto map. Excuse me, I'm sorry. It has an auto map feature, so you can go back to your map and see, oh, okay, I've been here. I'm going in a circle. But it also, the combat's really cool. So like, let's say you approach a mob. So if it's way down the hallway, it's one of those games where as you're walking towards it, the perspective and the monster gets bigger until it's in front of you and it fights. Well, once you hit one of the buttons to enter combat, you can actually move left to right to dodge the mob. So if the mob's on the right and trying to hit you, you can like, it just shows like the screen, strafe to the left.
Sure.
So, you know, it was actually really cool for the Game Boy. You're like, oh, wow, I can actually dodge this monster's attacks in real time. And then you shoot them with your little, your projectile. And then they have the base of it is alchemy. So you find metals and items that you can drop in these different vats. There's like acid, water, fire pits. And then like, depending on what you're throwing into that element, you create new things. And they're all these little pools of chemicals are always around the labyrinth on every level. And it's just a really neat RPG. You get equipment, you have to solve puzzles, and you fight monsters and level up. It's a lot of people don't know about it. It's not a game for everyone, but for the Game Boy, it's really impressive.
Yeah, so, I didn't know there's any dungeon crawlers on the Game Boy actually, so that's pretty interesting.
So if you guys like it, if you guys like it, or if you're interested, check it out. Look up a YouTube video, see what it plays like. Heck, emulate it if you want. Bang a gong, baby. But that is my retro highlight. Back to you, Church.
Yes. So then, as I'd mentioned, I just wanted to talk about a couple games that I've played recently that are kind of deserving of some talk here. Last episode, I mentioned a game called Deltarune, which was announced by Toby Fox and the Undertale Twitter page. And what it was there was some weird, like, cryptic messages being posted on the Undertale Twitter account saying, oh, check back in 24 hours, Deltarune's coming. Then on Halloween, a link went up for Deltarune. It was a free download. And turns out what this is the follow-up by Toby Fox, the creator of Undertale. It's the follow-up of Undertale. It's not a sequel necessarily to Undertale, but it uses a lot of the same assets, basically like an alternate universe where a lot of the same characters are in this game, but they're not the characters from Undertale necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
That story doesn't connect to this, at least. And what it is it's it's very similar to Undertale in visuals and gameplay, except the combat has been expanded. It now has, instead of just being the kind of bullet hell Earthbound combat system, now it has a turn-based combat system that incorporates that bullet hell into dodging enemy attacks when they attack. So combat is more in depth. The combat actually looks really cool. The animations that I used for your main characters, and now you have a party in this game instead of just being your singular character. Story is still very kind of like far out there, kind of trippy. Lots of humor involved. And it's just chapter 1. It's about 3 to 4 hours, and he says he is going to continue working on this, but it sounds like we won't see more of this for potentially very long time. He said it took him 3 years to make a Deltarune Chapter 1.
Holy Jesus.
And he says in order for this to become fully realized, to see it through how he envisions it, he is going to have to create a team to make this. So he's going to create like his own little studio or something to finish this game, which I think is awesome. He does amazing work on his own, but it sounds like the scope of what he's trying to do here needs that extra help. For us to see this in a realistic time frame. So if you are a fan of Undertale, do check out Deltarune. If you haven't played Undertale, you probably, I don't know, there's not necessarily there's no like story benefits of playing Undertale first, but there are kind of some nods and references that I think are very beneficial, I guess, to kind of some of the things that he's doing to know these characters. So I would say definitely play Undertale before you play Deltarune. And also the music is amazing, just as Undertale. Like, fantastic music. You can get the whole soundtrack for free on his Bandcamp as well, which is cool. So do check out Undertale, do check out Undertale, but also Deltarune. Unfortunately, it's only available for PC. So,
yeah. I mean, it took a long time. I mean, Undertale finally, didn't it Limited Run do it for consoles, or has it not made it to consoles yet?
Yep, it is now available on PlayStation 4 and Switch. I'm not sure if it's on Xbox One, but it's on PS4 and Switch.
I mean, and that's been almost a year and a half now?
Yes.
So,
yes.
Switch
was earlier this year. Yeah, who knows? This could very well end up on consoles to some extent. I don't know how he would do this, because it's very short. Maybe it'd be very cheap, like $20 game or something. If they do a physical digital version, I'm sure they can do. Undertale did some interesting things, particularly later in the game, with manipulating your save file, simulating game crashes and stuff. I haven't experienced those on the PlayStation 4 or the Switch version yet, which I think added to some of the complication of getting that game ported to consoles, where this doesn't do much of that. There is one little thing that's more of an Easter egg if you know how to find it, but I could see this one being easier to port to the consoles. So maybe it will.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be hard to simulate that stuff. I mean,
true.
We were talking about, I think it was last podcast or the one before that, we were talking about the GameCube game, Eternal Darkness, because it did the same thing. It would you'd go to load your memory card, be like, nope, your memory card's blank. What file are you trying to, so that game fucked with you a little bit. So, I mean, who's to say that they wouldn't be able to simulate that on a console?
Yeah.
I don't, obviously you have played a lot more Undertale than I have, so I don't know if when you say like a system crash, would it actually kick you back to the desktop, like actually to the desktop, or like,
Undertale did a full crash to the desktop, game closed. What the fuck just happened? Hopefully most of the people, when that happened, they continued on and didn't go, oh, what the hell, my game crashed. I'm going to move on, because it's pretty neat what they do.
Okay. I mean, don't want to spoil anything for people, but if they, like myself, who haven't been that far in the game, I own it, but like many of my games, I'll play it one day.
True.
Because I know that's when you're like, no, dude, seriously, stop what you're doing and play Undertale. I'm like,
it's definitely a top list of something. I don't know what number, top 20 maybe games of all time. Whatever. It's amazing. Absolutely, it is. Like it starts off, and it's kind of it's misleading. There's a lot more going on than what it shows you, and the main thing with Undertale is the story. Like they kind of, like I said, it's very misleading. They send you down this path, and then it's like total mind fuck kind of craziness. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Anyways, I've praised Undertale many times. I'm sure everybody's already heard it.
Yeah, but hey, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. When a game's good and it really hits you, it really struck a chord with you, and you want the whole world to know. Like, I mean, we're in this day and age now where not a lot of games do that anymore.
True.
So, I mean, when something like that comes out of nowhere, like an indie title like that, like that's impressive to have the whole internet abuzz. I mean, like that's like saying everybody knows I like you like Shantae games. Stop talking about like no. It's if you're passionate about it, man. That rock on is what I say.
I appreciate that. So Deltarune, check it out. Then kind of a hot topic before we get into a hot topic. Fallout 76.
Hot mess, maybe.
So various things here. So I thought it'd be fun to talk about Fallout 76. I'm assuming, and Justin and I haven't really talked about it besides what you've heard on the podcast before. I have a feeling we have different opinions, but we'll see. So I just want to kind of get people up to speed about Fallout 76. I'm sure there's people who listen who are familiar with this game and people upset and, well, they're not sure why they're upset. Whatever. So Fallout 76 is a new Fallout game to some regard. It's not Fallout 5. It's not a full-blown sequel continuing on. It's more of an offshoot game. And where I think a lot of the controversy, I guess, the people being upset is that I think I know for a fact a lot of people wanted Fallout 5 or the next full Fallout game and not a spin-off game, which is understandable. But I think a lot of people didn't really understand that this isn't your standard Fallout game, that this was Fallout, the survival game of the survival genre. I've mentioned before of games like Rust and Ark Survival Evolved and even DayZ. Like it's just a sandbox game. Like there's not story. I'd hoped there was kind of more story, but even I was kind of setting myself up for disappointing expectations because they said this is a survival game. You are in this world. There's other players. You got some objectives you can do. There are random events that happen, but mostly you're just exploring at your leisure, building your settlement or whatever, and that's it. And I think a lot of people really didn't understand that. Actually, we're both fans of Jim Sterling, and we watch his videos, and I watched his video on Fallout 76, and the whole time he's kind of, he's not a fan, and he was kind of tearing it apart and stuff, saying, oh, there's no story, there's no quests and stuff, and it's like, Jim, it's a survival game. It's not supposed to have that stuff. And then the part that kind of makes me sort of scratch my head is it seems like because this isn't your standard Fallout, it's not your standard Elder Scrolls game, it's a spin-off game, so it's under a little extra scrutiny, is now we're at the point where the Bethesda bugs and glitchiness is a problem. Now all of a sudden everybody has a problem with the bugginess of a Fallout game where everything else was forgiven, which even Jim kind of touched on this. He's like, usually the story and the experience is so engaging that we forgive that. And now that the story and all that stuff is gone, it stands out so much more, which I don't know. I disagree with that, but, it's nothing that, like, personally, I haven't seen any bugs or glitches yet myself. Not saying that it won't happen. I'm sure it will. But even when I play through like the Fallout or the Elder Scrolls games, like I counter bugs and glitches, like, and we just forgive and forget and keep playing because we're having fun. And this isn't any different. I do think it is. I mean, it's how many years now have we been playing on these engine, this Bethesda engine that they just, it seems like they refuse to fix it or something. Like, I don't know, like, but people being upset about the fact that there's bugs and glitches in this game when they forgive Skyrim, when they forgive Fallout 3 in New Vegas and 4, like, it just it makes me want to scratch my head a little bit. So that's kind of my introduction to Fallout 76. Before sharing my thoughts on my experience, because I have played it a little bit, kind of wanted to hear your thoughts on Fallout 76.
So this is where I think this will be our first disagreement on a major game or the news. And I actually agree with people that are upset with this game. Mm-hmm. This game was clearly made as a cash grab. It's Bethesda's turn to join companies like EA, Activision, and others that are doing microtransactions.
There's no microtransactions.
There are.
Well,
the Pay Store was open in the beta, full running and fully operational, while bugs that were reported in the beta are still in the main game.
Yeah,
I don't know how you excuse that and go, but why are you complaining about the game and its content and its glitches? You just said it yourself. You know,
Well,
I mean, you were paraphrasing other people. The story and the engagement and everything else is good enough to go, oh, that person's half in the ground and half not. That's a glitch. Whatever. I'll keep moving.
Sure.
So, you know,
I will say the pay store is kind of a joke. Like, there's nothing really in it. I know Jim doesn't excuse cosmetic items. Because I mean, there is still kind of that shady, like, temptation, even if they're just cosmetic items. But I saw the store and I thought it was kind of a joke initially when I was looking at it. Like, not just, but just the offerings. Like, I don't see why anybody would spend real money on that, because you can earn points in the game to get that stuff.
What do they call them, atoms or whatever?
Yeah. So,
but what burns what chaps my ass about it is that it was open in the beta, which meant get ready for more of this, guys. This is just the sprinkling of what we have in mind. If you don't think that they're not going to, because I know leveling up now requires like cards or something like that, so you can like really diversify your character, and then you like level up the card.
Well, you get cards when you level up, and those kind of give you like bonuses, kind of like the bonuses you used to get in Fallout for your like level enhancements, or like, oh, you get better at lock picking, or you're quieter when you run, kind of stuff.
Yeah, the perks.
Yeah,
or like the skill abilities. So if you don't think those are going to be in the paywall soon, then I think you know, you or anybody else that don't like, no, it's just going to be cosmetic. No. I mean, a lot of people have speculated
that's conjecture, though. We can't damn a game on something that's not in it, though.
Well, I mean, they're getting bad flack right now. There's way more negative than there is positive, but it's not negative. Sure. It's not negative to be negative. It's not another mediocre game for being mediocre. No, it's like there's glitches, there's bugs, the world is empty. A lot of people are claiming that like they don't run into either other human players for hours at a time. So that I don't understand, because actually the game shows where the other players are. Just so everyone knows, I have one buddy that plays it. I mean, that I've watched a little bit when he was baiting, and then the rest of my stuff is coming from things I've watched online. So I have not played it myself. I mean, I've played Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3, so I know the concept. I have not physically played 76 myself, because I'm waiting to see.
Yeah, and not I'm not putting you in this, but a lot of the people that are really just like they're just condemning this game to hell. Like there's a lot of people that haven't played it, and
it's going to be the same type of fans that we're going to talk about in the next subject.
That's true.
What I think it comes down to, I mean, granted, the ire is from two different angles. It's not like it's not just burn this place down because we can. It's not total anarchy. It's when we have come to expect a certain level of quality, which you're right. I do agree with you on the principle of like, oh, name me a Bethesda game in the last 10 years that hasn't come out on release buggy and riddled with problems that they've had to patch. You're right. Every one of them have. Yeah. Everyone, I think, minus Doom. I don't think Doom had any major.
Well, that was id Software, though.
Oh, okay.
Bethesda just published it.
Okay, sorry, my bad. So, I mean, the Oblivion, Skyrim, you know, any of the major ones, like we all know that. But like, I that's where I agree with people like Jim and other people that are like, but the game was just so good. You're like, it's not a big enough deal that hey, I'll mention it. Hey, Skyrim had glitches. But did you see this and that? You know, but now when you have this, you know, this new Fallout, and the only part of the ire I didn't care for it was like people really, when people were like, the first round of complainers were like, Fallout 76, it's not following lore, because for people that, you know, if you're lore hounds, it's supposed to be the original Vault. Yeah. So saying it's like a spinoff. It's technically like a redone, well, not redone, and like there's one before it. It's like a reimagined prequel, because this is supposed to be the very original Vault, and you're the people from the original Vault.
Yeah.
And people are like, that doesn't make sense. Then timelines are screwed and people are losing their mind over lore, which, you know what, if you're a lore hound,
Yeah.
then I agree with you. If you're super big, like, I love the universe, I love the lore, you guys have built a fantastic idea, world, and lore, I'm upset that you've done this. Then yes, but for people that are just, yeah, I'm mad because that guy's mad about the lore. Darn you, Pete. Like, who? No, I don't care.
Yeah. So I kind of want to go back to like so the bugs, and that's like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I think people are justified in being upset. Like, we shouldn't be having games released that are as buggy as Bethesda games are, or the Bethesda open world games.
It is 2018. Come on now.
Right. Current year, people. But at this point, for me, it's, as far as the bugs go, I've forgiven it before. I don't feel like this is my hill to die on for Fallout 76. I think, and I think for the game itself, like, I haven't, like, the whole potential of microtransactions, we'll have to see what happens with that. It's definitely, you wouldn't even know unless you're actually digging around in the menus to find it. They don't like stick it in your face. They don't advertise it or anything. But the game itself, I've actually, so I you know, all these people are up in arms. Oh, I canceled my pre-orders. People are making videos. Oh, this game's terrible. I had it on pre-order because I was like, hey, I saw the power armor edition, and as everybody knows, I'm a sucker for collector's editions. I love Fallout. We didn't know anything about the time, so I pre-ordered it. And
I don't hold that against you. Like, you got a cool piece of collectible memorabilia, so yeah.
Well, so as we were coming up to release, I was kind of like starting to kind of really worry that, you know, I don't want to buy this collector's edition if I'm not going to like the game, especially the fact that this is a $200 collector's edition. You know, it's not cheap. I don't want to spend that kind of money on something that I'm not gonna, you know. The collector's editions I have, those are for games that I really enjoy and I can warrant that purchase. So I decided, you know what, I have beta access. I'm going to play the beta. I'm going to check it out, see what's up. And I played the beta for probably like 3-4 hours. And I got to the point where I've played enough of the beta. So the full game comes out in a week. I don't want to, you know, put all my time into the beta and then say, oh, I've had enough, and then not play the game. So I got to the point where I'm like, I'm having quite a bit of fun. I'm keeping my pre-order. So I got my pre-order, played the game some more. I haven't gotten past that initial like 3-4 hours in the full version. Apparently a lot of people, a lot of characters carried over. Like, you could continue your character from the beta. I didn't. I started over. Not that it really mattered one way or another. So I haven't gotten past that 3-4 hours of content, but I don't know. I guess it kind of depends on what people really are trying to get out of Fallout 76. So I do, you really gotta stress that this is a survival game. And a lot of people haven't played survival games or even know what they are. I don't know. I think Ark Survival Evolved is on consoles, but I'm not sure on that. Rust, I don't believe is, and I don't know if DayZ is. If anybody wants to correct me on that. So the survival genre, they're just, it's a sandbox game. Like I said, they put you in the world and you explore. Like those games that I mentioned, like they don't even really have anything to keep you going. Like, it's just harvest resources and build your base and kill other players. Like, that's all those games are. This actually has, like, they do put in lore. Like, you know, you still come across, oh, here's a little town. You walk into the town, you go into the houses, and much like the exploration in all the previous Fallout games, I mean, that's really what this is. Like, so the one thing, I mean, I did love the stories for Fallout 3, New Vegas, and 4, but the thing that I really enjoyed about those games, including like Skyrim, for example, is the exploration, like just exploring the world.
Yep.
The Fallout games, especially because you go into these areas, like I said, you go into these houses, there'd be maybe a note, or you look at the scenery and you see some dead bodies and you kind of reconstruct what happened. They tell the story with the visual elements instead of like actually people talking to you and stuff. Mm-hmm. And if you enjoy that part of the Fallout games, like that is Fallout 76. Like that exploration piece is still there. There's just not the narrative or the NPCs or the random events or the factions element to kind of cohesively write this tale that most games, really lean themselves on is a narrative focus. Start to finish story, where this doesn't have that. And gameplay wise, it's Fallout. I can't really say how the player base is going to be yet. One reason I didn't play games like Rust or Ark is those games, I think, bring out the worst in people. They're essentially sociopath, psychopath simulators where these people are gearing to murder you. Like this person that you might align yourself with, and maybe you guys build a base together even. Like at some point, this guy is going to murder you, and he's going to do it in the most like vile and evil way. And I avoid those games because I just don't like that. They pulled me in being the Fallout setting, and there is some light narrative, like especially at the beginning. I don't know how far that goes through, but it kind of starts directing you to some areas as you're following the overseer, your vault's overseer. She was the first person that ventured out, so you're kind of following their trail. And there's like little side quests and stuff to do, but there's just not like the NPC element. So as far as gameplay wise, it's kind of like what do you enjoy in Fallout? And if people if this isn't for them, I totally understand that, because like I said, I'm not a survival game kind of person, but they got me being Fallout. And if I can get 20-30 hours of entertainment out of it, I think I'm gonna be fine with it. Is it gonna am I satisfied? Do I need a Fallout 5? Yes, please make Fallout 5. That's what I want. But I don't think this is as egregious as an entry to the series as, say, something that we're definitely going to talk about here, something like Diablo Immortal, like that blasphemous creation onto the fandom. I don't think 76 is that, but that's my thoughts on it. That's mine. Do I think people are warranted in the things that they're upset about? Mostly yes. If they're not. I don't know. I guess I have more issue with the people that are complaining that there's not a story, that there's not NPCs, that there's not quest lines and stuff like that, because that's not what this game is, and that's never what this game was advertised as. And I think people had these expectations again that this was Fallout 5, and it's not. This is a spin-off game, and everything outside of that, like the bugs and the potential microtransactions, be upset about that stuff. Yes. But yeah.
So for if people don't know, like the thing I like Church for, because he's almost like the opposite of me. I can be one of those people that will be like, no, fuck those people and their dirty buttholes, and I hope their families get cancer. I know that sounds terrible, but it's just, you get frustrated, and I've been that person. Like I say, my story about the first time playing Dark Souls. If you want to listen to that, it's one of the earlier podcasts. But yeah. Church has this out view of games that he just always wants to be positive, even when it's hard to be. And I appreciate him for that, because it's like you try to find the best in all of gaming. Whether it's the games coming out, the communities, or the developers and producers.
Sometimes.
Like you tend to, if you can.
Yes.
I'm sure I haven't heard you ever really go off on a game where you're just like, no, condemn it to the deepest levels of hell. Like, I've never heard you go off on that.
I think the most one of the games I've probably was outright against was in fact, another mobile iteration of a beloved series, and that was the that Command and Conquer mobile game that EA made.
Yeah.
And fuck that shit because.
Oh, okay. So there you go, folks. You can get angry about a game. I didn't. But my point being to that is to show you that, like, I think you're doing that right now. I think you are just going, no, I'm not going to call you a fanboy because I know we both hate that, but I think you are blinded because you want Fallout just to be fun. You're like, I got a new Fallout. I kind of want it. It kind of fills a niche right now for me. I'll consume it. And what people, because I disagree with you. I don't think people are misinterpreting what this game was. No, this was sold as, hey, you guys love Fallout, right? Yeah. Well, guess what? Multiplayer Fallout. And when people are like, oh, cool. Now, it wasn't sold as Fallout or Fallout 5. That I'll agree with you. But I don't think anybody's expecting this to be Fallout 5. But they also didn't sell it as a survival game. They're like, you're going to be able to build bases. You're going to be able to scavenge for stuff. That's already what Fallout was about. I mean, yeah, they added the building thing in 4, but you were already scavenging. You were already surviving. You just had other people to interact with and quests. And so to say, this is just a giant sandbox. Well, that's not what we asked for. That's not what we wanted. It seems like they're trying to be the slower version of what's that popular game that people the battle arena, not PUBG, but the Fortnite. Thank you. This is them making a slower version of that, except it's not. But it's not round based. It's build your little structure. Like the thing, like with Rust and those games that were survival like that, like you say, Psychopath Trainers, but like you can go on YouTube and watch, like, hey, this is me and another guy raiding an enemy base or a rival faction's base, but they're all sleeping. So these two guys just destroy these people's, like, took them months to build and resources base because the team is literally the real people who play on that team are sleeping or offline.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, oh, whoop-de-doo. There's no challenge. You know, and that's just one example. I'm not saying that defines those genres, but this is not it's not survival. It's not you versus other people versus the elements. It's, to me, it seems like a lazy attempt at them trying to make some money. Because, come on, this is Bethesda we're talking about. I mean, the guy who always does the interviews, I'm terrible with remembering people's names and stuff. But if it's the head developer, he even said like 2 years ago, oh yeah, we want to make a new engine for the Fallout series, but technology hasn't met up yet. And someone talked to him right about that. Now they're like, yeah, 2 years ago you said that. And he's like, the interviewer's like, so what would you say about the technology now? And he's just like, well, it's kind of hard. Like, he had to like, oh, crap, I said something I regret now. Because to tell someone, oh, technology isn't where it needs to be for us to make what we want it to be, bull crap. It's called, you don't want to spend that kind of money to put, like, bottom line, Fallout needs a new engine.
Yes, I agree. Bethesda needs a new engine. Like, I hope to God that the Elder Scrolls 6, whatever that is, because we saw... They're making it. We saw that screen that they showed.
I was going to say the screenshot
that showed us the logo. Like, seriously, Bethesda, do not. I think they use the Gamebryo engine as their engine. Like, do not. That game should not. I just pray it doesn't have the same engine as like Fallout 4 or Skyrim. Like, it needs a new engine. Like they give it up. I mean, I love it. I love those games. Like Bugs and all, like those are beloved games, but come on, you guys have made enough money where you can just dump money into this engine to make it work and not be buggy. Just do it.
And so there comes the other point, speaking of bugs. And I mean, let's be honest here. Bethesda has a little bit of a track record of taking mods made by the community, the fans, taking it, kind of implementing it into their stuff so they don't have to do the work. And so maybe some guy gets a couple shekels here and there, you know, but I mean, it's literally the community appreciating the community. Like, hey, thank you, Night Ranger 4429 for making a texture mod for Fallout New Vegas. Yes. Hey, thanks, giant balloon head guy 442. Thanks for making like the water look better with, you know, or different models of guns and characters.
We even had like huge YouTube channels based around the modding community. There's MXR Mods who did Skyrim Mods Weekly and also Fallout Mods Weekly. Like, huge fan bases. And actually, with this being what it is, since it's a multiplayer Fallout, there's that scary word that I think people kind of. That's a whole other topic, but it's always online. So, oh my god! Because it's always online, there's no modding, so this game won't have the modding element to it yet. We'll see, because they tried doing paid mods for Skyrim and Fallout before. They tried it on Steam, they tried it on consoles, all kind of blew up in everybody's face. But we'll see. Well, I guess we'll see when it comes to that. But
so, I mean, a couple of other problems that people found out. One, someone already broke into or I wouldn't say broke into the code, but someone found like some code or they did some data mining and found out they already have 7 or 8 planned DLCs for 76 already.
Oh, really?
So you can look forward to that.
Oh, I haven't heard
and in the vein of Bethesda, they don't give you DLCs for free. They're typically around $20 a pop.
True that.
But I mean, that's speculation. Who knows? You might be able to be free, or you might be able to buy them, or they might be cheaper, like maybe $10 instead of 20. So that's speculation, but there is I think it's 7 or 8 already planned DLCs. Mm-hmm. A big concern for a lot of people who care, if you don't have tight security, the transfer protocol, it's not client based, like you say, it's all server based. Mm-hmm. It's in plain text. And for people who aren't tech savvy enough, that basically means that anybody can basically look at your connection and see what you're doing and maybe hack you or DDoS you or mess with you in any way they want, because there's not encryption. Your computer talking to the server is not encrypted like most games are.
I didn't hear about that.
Yep. It's plain text, which is this is stuff I'm learning in my school, everybody. So I know a little bit, but I'm not an expert. But
yeah,
that
I'll
is
have to look that up.
That is the worst way to send information over the internet when you're talking to servers and stuff like that, because it's basically unencrypted and anybody can just put a sniffer on there and see exactly what you're doing and get your information. Okay. So that's a major concern. If you want, I mean, you can look it up as we talk. Otherwise, that was another major problem. Obviously, glitches and whatever. Yeah, that's going to happen. But yeah, I just, from what a lot of people are saying, it feels like a very, very empty world. And which, if you were trying to make Fallout into a horror, survival horror game, maybe oh, good, it should feel big, wide, and empty. Because I mean, here you are, hey, I'm in. Did they say if this takes place in any city, or is it just generic land? You know what I mean? Like how Fallout 3 was Washington, Fallout 4 was Pennsylvania?
This is West Virginia.
Okay. So they did. So it is.
It's like a certain area. I don't know my geography very well, and I haven't gotten to. I haven't scoured over the map. I kind of want to discover things on my own. So I'm sure there's going to be notable, real locations. I believe there's even some local lore from West Virginia. I heard something about a Mothman or something. So
okay.
So it seems like it does your usual adapted real geography to kind of fit into the area, but I've yet to see it myself.
Okay. And like I say, I don't want to linger too, because we have another topic I'm sure me and you are going to just bash to death over the head with it. But I just think it's very disingenuous that even using the same engine as Fallout 4, I mean, because a lot of people that are critiquing the game are calling it Fallout 4 multiplayer. It's all what they're calling it for, or what they're calling it. But
sure.
Simple things it has the legacy Bethesda coding problem where they try to hard lock it. They try to I don't know. I'll try to explain this the best I can. Maybe you'll be able to fill in the blanks for me. You might know more because you're more IT tech savvy than I am. But all Bethesda games have a problem until someone fixes it, i.e. a modder, that they hard code the games at 60 frames per second. They lock it in there. But let's say you have a high-end gaming PC that could crank this baby up to 90 or 120 frames per second.
Yep.
So I think it's called the field of view slider is broken
no field
too.
Of view. Well, there's no field of view slider.
Okay. But then, so what I mean by the locked in at 60 frames per second, let's say you have a high-end gaming PC and you can crank it up to 90. Well, the game doesn't just display the game playing at 90 frames, it makes the whole game run at 90 frames. So instead of like your normal actions, like a walk is a walk, all of a sudden your walk is like a super turbo run because you've now made the whole game. I guess maybe, like I say, you might be able to like explain this better, but I just know that the whole game speeds up when you try to force it past its locked 60 frames per second.
Yeah, and I think part of the locking of frames is to do with the online functionality of it. It's like, I know some games don't have that problem, and I don't really know why. I think it's just how their game is. Because like you play something like Overwatch, and there's not going to be any issues with you running the game at higher FPS rates, but it's a very different gameplay style. So I don't know the details behind it, but yeah, I do know it is frame locked. But I will say, I think the game visually looks great. Like I'm personally impressed by the visuals. I know some people don't. I don't know how anybody could say Fallout 4 looks like is graphically bad. Like that, I think that's insane. Like Cheetah Men looks like a bad game. Fallout 4 doesn't look like a bad game. And for the most part, it runs pretty well. I know at the beginning of Jim Sterling's video, he shows like this, like it kind of like hard locks for like 20 seconds, and then the game starts going. I have experienced that, I think, twice. That hopefully gets fixed, but it wasn't, like I said, it only happened like twice in the 4 hours I played, which is less than a minute of interruption. I think it was just some sort of latency spike. I mean, anybody who's played stuff like, Counter-Strike back in any online PC gaming back in the day, like you've experienced this. Hell, most, I think, any like modern online games you'll experience rubber banding or latency spikes. Like, it just happens. A little bit more prevalent being a Bethesda game, but back to the visuals anyways. I think visually it runs and looks great, at least on my computer. I don't really have a high-end computer compared to people who have like actual high-end computers now, but my computer is better than a lot of people's computer because it was built very specifically when I built it, so it stands up a lot longer than like some of the like pre-made computers that people will buy. But I'm years behind. My tech is like 2013, 2014 tech in my computer. I'd probably say more.
Except for my video card, I'm about the same, yeah. And my RAM, but my CPU and my MOBO, and yeah, they're about 5-6 years old too.
And I will have to say, all of this is based on the PC version for me. Console versions I know experiences can be very different. Hardware, the network stuff, because you're running through like the PlayStation network and this and that. So maybe because of what I got, it causes less issues. I don't know, but for the most part, I don't know. As you'd mentioned, like I try to find the positive in games, which I do say that's true, because ultimately I want to enjoy every game I play. I want every game to be great. I do kind of feel like in many ways I'm reliving last year all over again with Mass Effect Andromeda, which we've talked about many times. That I personally thought Andromeda was a great game, had some issues, but very, very different of opinions from the mass majority on the game. And maybe I forgive too much. I don't know. I definitely wouldn't say I'm a Fallout fanboy. Like, I do really, I love the games, but I'm not gonna like drop everything I'm doing to run out and I mean, I will, but I'm not. There's definitely bigger fans than me. Like, I haven't played the DLCs and stuff. I played through the games once and kind of move on. I don't repurchase the Fallout or Skyrim. I only have Skyrim on PC. I don't have it on 10 systems, kind of shit. So I don't know. Time will tell. I think in some regards, time will tell, and we'll see what happens. with Fallout, unfortunately, but I do know of other people who have checked it out, and I do see there are people that are enjoying the game for what it is. I think there is stuff to be enjoyed, but I think people are justified in a lot of their disappointment, I guess. But I don't know. I think I've kind of said my piece.
Yep. I mean, like, I mean, just, you know, it's, again, this is something where if people get it, I'm not going to be like, you're part of the problem. No, hey, just like Jim, you know, Jim and other people, prominent people have said, if this is just your thing and you just want more Fallout and you will take it any way you can get it, you know, then buy it. Yeah, I say buy it, enjoy it, you know, get your, you know, everyone that I have heard that said something bad about the game did say this. Unanimously, they've all said this in one way or another. If you are looking for a good time and some good memories with your friends, get 2-3 friends, get on and just start killing, you know, the wasteland. It's still fun. It's still Fallout. Yeah, the VAT system is a little weird, but it has to be. It couldn't be the same because it can't stop an online game. Yes. Everyone else in the server stopped because this guy's using VATs. Like, no, obviously it can't work that way. But they've all said it's a great time. Get some friends. Get on, you know, Discord or some kind of voice chat program and have fun. It's still a lot of fun that way.
And I guess that's worth mentioning too. Is like thus far, I haven't played with anybody. Like I've just been kind of running around on my own. Like I've run across some people and like I didn't party up with them, but we kind of stick together and kind of like BS for 5, 10, 15 minutes. But then they go off on their way and I go off on mine. So, you know, considering that I haven't played with friends, which if I did, I'm sure like I would be loving the experience. But you know, that's something that I could throw out there to, you know, say, hey, like I haven't got that part of the experience yet, so so that'll only improve it. And if anybody has Fallout 76 on PC, let me know. Maybe we can team up.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, you've met my friend Chris. You met
yes.
Yeah, he's the one. He's like, I don't care. He literally, I'm like, but what about this? What about this? Because he's a PC purist. I mean, he doesn't crap on console gamers, but he got it on PC, and I'm just like, but what about this? He's like, yeah, that's fine. I don't care. I just want to play Fallout with my friends. I'm like, well, I can't beat that. That's all he's looking for. He just wants to be able to chill out, play Fallout, and if he can have some friends do it, great. So I'll send a message to him, and so if you guys want to connect on, I was going to say, haha, Steam, but it's not on Steam.
It's not on Steam. But that's the launcher. So then I think, are you okay? Shall we move on?
Yeah, yep, I've said all.
So real quick before we get into the next ranty game segment, I just wanted to throw a couple mentions here real quick. I've shared it on my Twitter and Facebook if you're looking for the link, but there is a 100% 1-to-1 fan-made recreation of PT. And PT was the playable teaser, playtest, whatever you want to call it. Essentially the demo for Silent Hills. That was the PS4 exclusive demo thing there for a little bit. But this fan has remade it 1-to-1, put it out for free for download for the PC. So if you have a PC, you want to check out PT, definitely do it. Go download this. It hasn't been cease and desisted yet. It's been up for like a week, which is really surprising. So who knows how much longer this has, but here's your opportunity to play PT. Then just a little quick mention of a series, animated series. I used to share their videos a lot years ago. Stopped doing it because whatever. But there's an animator called Carbots, and he's done he did like a Star LOL, Warcraft LOL series. They're kind of like funny animated little 2-minute things about essentially Blizzard games. They're really funny. They're kind of cute. But they just started doing their Diablo series, So check that out if you're a Diablo fan. They're he did a recreation of the Reaper of Souls trailer, which I thought was incredible. I'd shared that back when they first released it a whole bunch. So wanted to give a shout out to that.
Excellent. Always good stuff.
Yeah. Then should we talk about Diablo?
Want to talk about Diablo?
I want to talk about Diablo because
let's talk about Diablo then.
I got things to say, and I get it, but I'm very, very disappointed in the gaming community as a whole, and kind of the flack that they're throwing towards the Diablo community. So, anybody who might not have heard, basically right after the last episode of the podcast, that weekend was BlizzCon. BlizzCon is the yearly Blizzard Entertainment convention. It's kind of the I mean, obviously, if you're a Blizzard fan, that's like the mecca of Blizzard gaming. They do their big announcements, people in cosplay and, merchandise and updates on their games, this and that, like yearly highlight for Blizzard fans. I, being a very big Blizzard fan, if anybody knows me, I love Diablo, I love StarCraft, I love Warcraft, I love Overwatch, their old games, even Rock and Roll Racing, The Lost Vikings, Blackthorn, cool shit. Huge fan. But BlizzCon, you might have heard that they announced Diablo Immortal, which is a mobile game, a mobile Diablo game. And people are like, oh, okay. It's a Diablo Immortal game, or a mobile game. Big whoopee. Whoop-de-doo. And then you might have heard that there's a lot of backlash. There's people at BlizzCon asking questions like, is this an April Fool's joke? And people reacting to that like, oh, and entitled babies, why are you disrespecting the creators for making a game that they want to make? And I think there's a big separation between the essentially the Blizzard community and the rest of the gaming world. And I'll try to explain this the best I can in a cohesive way. But stick with me for a minute here. So I firmly believe that Blizzard is a game development company unlike any other. Valve was kind of like this too, but they've kind of fallen to the wayside as they don't make video games anymore, essentially. And they kind of did some things to kind of ruin their goodwill to some extent. But Blizzard has always been a company that works directly with their fan base. BlizzCon is for the fans. Like how many game studios get their own convention or have their own convention that sells out within minutes, that has people fly from all over the world to go to? The Blizzard community is unlike any other community, I think, because we're so involved with the company. It's not just we love the games, like we love the company and what they do. Blizzard has always worked with the fans. Some notable recent examples, like think Diablo 3. Like Diablo 3 had some issues when it launched. It had the auction house, the real money auction house. Diablo 3 doesn't have the real money auction house anymore. And that was directly because of the people upset about it. Like the Blizzard fans, like we support Blizzard games like none other. We buy their games, we play their games. Hundreds, I have hundreds and hundreds. I've put thousands of hours into Blizzard games. Another example, look at we actually got another big announcement at BlizzCon. I think they did the release date of vanilla World of Warcraft servers. Like how many companies do you see releasing a legacy version of their game and are going to support it due to fan outcry, because fans wanted to be able to just play the original version of World of Warcraft without all the expansions, without all the changes, and they're doing that. And this isn't the first time. Like there's been lots of quality of life changes in their games over the years directly due to the fans and what the community as a whole wants. Like Blizzard doesn't like completely bend their will to fan outcries. Like they're not going to do every little change that fans want, but very particular instances, like this is a company that works with their fan base because they care about the games that they put out like no other. They support their games like no other. Like they're still updating Diablo 2. Like you can still play Diablo 1. You can play the original Warcraft games online still, and they're still getting updates. Like you just don't see that. They put out the best product they feel they can put out. StarCraft Ghosts looked amazing. Canceled. They had a Warcraft adventure game that they were going to put out. Canceled. They were making this crazy ass MMO called Codename Titan. Canceled and adapted into what eventually became Overwatch. Like Blizzard doesn't just put out anything. And then we come to Diablo Immortal. So back to what Diablo Immortal is. Diablo Immortal is and this is kind of going into some of the issues that Diablo fans have. So this isn't a Diablo game made by Blizzard. This is a Diablo game made by a third-party Chinese studio that already makes Diablo clones for mobile. So that's one check on the long list of issues that this is. So it's not a Blizzard game. It's some other studio. There's a lot of comparison screenshots out there right now too of an existing game that I don't know the name of. That looks like essentially it's the reskin version of that, just with Diablo aesthetics on. And then there's the backlash about the people. So here's another thing. So BlizzCon, people love BlizzCon. It's exciting. We get to hear about our favorite franchises. There's never been a boo or an incident at a BlizzCon before. When they announced Diablo Immortal, there was boos. Blizzard was booed by a fan base that loves them. Like people don't understand how much Blizzard fans love this company. And like I wasn't at BlizzCon, but I booed. Like I booed my favorite thing. Like I love Blizzard games. Like this is such a huge misstep, and it's large. I don't think it's a lot of Blizzard. I think a lot of this is Activision, and there's many other elements behind that we could get into. Like coincidentally, the president Michael Morhaime, like a legendary president of Blizzard Entertainment, leaves Blizzard 2 weeks before the announcement of Diablo Immortal. Like, if this was something that Blizzard was like proud of and was like, yeah, here's our next game, like why would he leave when all of a sudden like they're going to announce this game and Blizzard stocks are going to skyrocket again because everybody's excited for the next Blizzard game? Like, it's kind of fucking coincidental. Oh, and then also there's reports now that Blizzard employees end of the year bonuses and game bonuses are being cut. Like they're losing their bonuses and stuff. This is almost like a whole nother topic, but it sounds like Activision is actually doing an aggressive takeover right now. But I think I've kind of lost where I was going with this. I was trying to just give backstory to like Blizzard and the fan base. Like we're so justified being upset about this. So another thing is Blizzard games have always been PC first. Always. Diablo is a PC series. Yeah, sure, they got console versions of it. Diablo 3 even had like the changes to a lot of how Diablo 3 functions with its interface and menu system was like really like catered to the console audience because that was going to be a big focus for that game. Is, hey, we're going to get this version of our game is going to be available for consoles because we couldn't really do that before. And is what it is. That's fine, but they've always been PC first. So taking this series that is a PC game series and saying, what, you don't have a mobile phone?
Yeah. Oh.
You don't have a smartphone as a justification. Like, what did they expect to happen? Like, and again, I have a hard time believing that a lot of people outside of the Blizzard fan base can understand what this is like. Like, I can't think of good analogies. Like, I was trying to think of like an analogy for like Legend of Zelda. Like, what could they do with the Legend of Zelda series that would be a complete insult to the entire Legend of Zelda series? But that's not even the same, because there's no cohesive vision behind the Legend of Zelda series. Like, each game's its own thing. Like, there are some kind of like storyline arcs, and there's like some like shrewdly connected Zelda timeline that the fan bases came up with, that Shigeru Miyamoto and like some of the other like Zelda writers are like, oh yeah, sure, yeah, that's how we plan to do the series. But the Diablo series is like, this is one story that one fan base has stuck with for 20 years. I've been playing the Diablo series for 20 years. And now all of a sudden they're going to say, hey, we're going to make this game. We're going to put it on mobile. It's not just like Diablo 3 port to mobile. It's a whole new Diablo experience. Hey, it takes place between your favorite Diablo game, which happens to be Diablo 2, and another fantastic Diablo game, Diablo 3. So this takes place in between 2 and 3. Oh, guess what? Deckard Cain's in this game. The guy that Jay Wilson, the hack job that they pulled to get involved with Diablo 3's writing, who arbitrarily killed off like the centerpiece of like the Diablo characters, like arbitrarily killed him off. Whoop-de-doo, Deckard Cain's dead in Diablo 3, but hey, he's back for this game. Like,
yeah,
what the fuck are you doing? Like, what? Like, I feel bad. I don't know the guy's name. The guy who is presenting Diablo Immortal, he's one of the main guys with the series. Like, I feel bad that he was getting direct flack, but he was the guy up on stage, kind of demonstrating this stuff. So like, I think a lot of our hate should be being directed at Activision and Blizzard as a whole, not just necessarily this guy, because we don't know all the facts and like why this is happening. But I don't feel that I'm an entitled baby that this isn't, it's not like the people upset about Fallout 76 being not Fallout 5. Like, this is on a whole nother fucking level.
Well, hold on. I think you need to like redirect your thought path, because you were like, you're presenting it how you feel about it, and then you're going into like, I think you've kind of skipped a couple steps there.
Okay, sure.
Going into like, we're entitled babies. Like, people are gonna be like, wait, you're entitled baby because you call yourself that, or? So I've been following, and I'm interested in your point, but I just think to skip ahead to the word entitled babies, like, you haven't explained what's happened yet.
Okay. So they Blizzard announces this game, and first of all, like I said, there's videos of this crowd of people who paid to be at BlizzCon. They flew across the country, they flew across the world to celebrate this new announcement, because there was rumors that there's going to be this Diablo announcement, and everyone's like, oh, Diablo 4? Mm-hmm. Oh my god, Diablo 4 is going to get announced. And they announced this mobile game, and the crowd boos. And then later on, when they do a Q&A section, there's people like, hey, is this an April Fool's joke? And they're like, nope, this is a Diablo game. And then you have another guy asking a question, is like, do you guys have any plans to release this on PC at any point? And they're like, nope, no plans. And I have pictures. At one point I was thinking about just making a video, like a lot of people kind of make these videos, but I harvested some pictures of the presentation area at BlizzCon, which BlizzCon is a sold out. Like I said, BlizzCon sells out like immediately.
Oh yeah.
Packed. Like, people are dying just to anything. They want to play all these demos and presentations and look at the stuff. Most of these games are franchises that are still going. Like, Blizzard doesn't announce new stuff very often, like new games, because their games are long lasting. And the Diablo Immortal presentation area, vacant. Like, nobody's playing the games. Oh yeah, you got your journalists going there, and they're like, oh, I played this. This was a fun mobile experience. And these journalists, like, these are the people who can't play through the tutorial of Cuphead. Like, these people are a joke. these fucking journalists. And what? So then this gets out that the Blizzard fan base is upset, and then all of a sudden the rest of the gaming community is like, oh, you're upset that Blizzard didn't make the game that you wanted them to make, but they're making this mobile game without like knowing all that background information about like. I struggle with this one because the people who are really talking about the fan base and that were upset, like they're not the fan base. Like these are people who might have played. Oh yeah, I played Diablo 3. It was fun, or I might have played this game. Like the Blizzard fan, like I've played all of their games. Like I am the fan base. Like these people don't have a stake in this. So like why? So what? I don't know. There's a severe disconnect, and I'm really struggling with that. And I want to like shout from the rooftops, but I don't know how to like effectively communicate the ideas and the things I want to say. That says we're in this case we are justified with being upset about this. This is a different company. This is a different thing than just somebody being upset about whatever direction a game goes. We hear about fan bases being upset about things all the time, and I think a lot of times like those things can be innocuous or unjustified. I don't know. This is different. This is very, very, very different, and I don't know how to really speak my piece on this because I'm hurt as a Diablo fan. Like this hurts me that they would do this, and I am upset that they did this and the way they've gone about doing this. Like I said, there's footage out there of the comparisons of this game that this Chinese developer made compared to what they showed for Diablo Immortal, and it's practically the same goddamn thing, just reskinned with Diablo stuff. And that's another issue with it is like this Diablo Immortal isn't made for Diablo fans. Diablo Immortal is made for the Chinese mobile market.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's who this is for. Like, sure, mobile gaming is a thing worldwide, but you didn't see Nintendo say, so we're not going to do Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Wii U. We changed our mind. We're going to put it on mobile. Like people, I don't know. I don't know how the Zelda fans would react to that. Maybe they'd be fine with it because Zelda's kind of been all over the place, where Diablo has always been on the PC. Like they took away our platform. If it was just a spin-off game or something that's like, hey, almost think like Final Fantasy, the Theater Rhythm, where it's like they're pulling in elements of all these different games, kind of just putting this little fun thing where you can enjoy all the different characters and the music and stuff. This is just a hodgepodge of like all the Diablo games, and it's just a fun thing where you're playing through like some of the notable experiences throughout the various Diablo universe. Like, yeah, sure, okay, whatever. Or if it's a Diablo 3 for mobile or Diablo 2 even for mobile, like sure. But they're taking our lore and our story and putting it on this other thing. Like, do I know? I don't know. Like, it could be a great game, but it's besides the point. Like, the quality of the game doesn't matter. Ultimately here, I think. It's the matter of the principle. And I've heard a lot of arguments like, oh, well, other game companies, what do you expect? They're a game studio. They're trying to make money and stuff. And Blizzard's, I mean, sure, yeah, they've been very, very successful with their games, but the fans have always been a huge part of that. Like, they don't make games for all you other people who don't play their games. They make the games for us fans. Like, the lore and the crafting, like it's to truly support the games, to make quality games. I mean, Blizzard makes quality games first and foremost. Like that's part of it. Like they wouldn't Diablo wouldn't have been successful if there wasn't a quality game. But at the same time, it's the fan bases that keep these games going for years and years and years and years. So I don't know. I'm kind of losing my steam here. So you want to jump in on?
No, I was like I say, I wasn't like trying to avoid it. I was just waiting for you to get your thing and all that. And so 2 things I wanted to clarify from a little bit ago that you said that Diablo, Blizzard really works with their fans. And no, I think they're just like every other company. They work with their fans when they feel that they're going to upset their fan base, and it's going to have more negative consequences than telling them to go pound sand. So when you talked about the real money auction in Diablo 3 when it first came out, it wasn't changed because the fans were like, this is stupid and we don't like it, get rid of it. No, the real reason behind they got rid of it was the fans, yes, but what the fans were complaining was your loot drops are terrible. I want to optimize my game. I rarely see legendaries, and then the ones I do need, I have to go pay somebody $50 to $100 for.
It took me 115 hours to get my first legendary in Diablo 3.
There you go. So what the fans did is they're like, basically, I mean, nobody like started a petition saying we're never going to play again if you don't fix it, but they were like, you have given us a broken game, and you are making us rely on paying real money for these legendaries that we never see. So then Blizzard went, okay, yeah, crap. Got rid of the real money auction house and then had to retool the drop system so that more legendaries would drop, because for anybody that's played Diablo till the end of the game, and when you cap out your character's level, when there's like no more levels to get, typically what you're doing is the gear grind. You're trying to find like if I'm trying to find that legendary helm that has the same name as mine, but it has 2 more strength than the one I have, or 3 more dex, or 3 more 5% more life steal than whatever it is. You're just hoping that the RNG gods give you the gear. So that was a necessitative change. That was a flaw in their game. It wasn't just because the fans were like boo and they're like, whoa, crap, sorry. Like, if they could have gotten away with it, they would have just left it there. They would have.
Probably. But at the same time, too, they also shit-canned the director for Diablo 3, Jay Wilson, who was a Warcraft guy, or a World of Warcraft guy, who was trying to kind of, I have a feeling Activision lackey might be kind of like a partial title for him. But, yeah.
So, and then I can't think of what was the second part you had added. Oh, geez. It was Diablo 3, and then you said another point right after that you're like, they changed it because of the fans.
Vanilla Warcraft?
Oh, yeah. Again, they didn't do that because the fans demanded it and they really wanted it. 2 years ago, Blizzard actually said at a con or in an interview, I can't remember which one it was, but it was something of that nature. I think it was an interview. But they're like, you guys don't know what you want. You don't want vanilla servers. We'll tell you what you want. Yeah. I mean, they didn't say we'll tell you, but they did say verbatim. You don't know. You don't want vanilla servers. You think you do, but you don't.
Yeah.
That's the same thing they just did to the fans. What? You don't own a smartphone?
Yeah.
What? You don't insult your customer base. You don't. Even if you think it's funny, like, hey guys, I'm LOL trolling you too. Ha ha ha. No. Oh. Like you have, and I do agree with you on one major thing. The poor guys, they must have lost the office bet. There must have been like, here, we're playing rock, paper, scissors to see who has to be the embarrassing sacrifice to go tell them about this abomination. Because you can't sit there and tell me not one person in that office was like, you want us to do what? Yeah, hey, we're the execs. We want, whether it be Bobby Kotick or whoever going, we want you to go on that stage and tell them that we're making a mobile game and that we have no plans for a PC version. And there were some sweating boys in that room like, I don't want to be the guy to do that. Oh, my God.
Yeah, because that's one thing is like, other communities, like, yeah, sure, you have fan bases, but does Super Mario have an official Nintendo's forum? Does Legend of Zelda have an official Nintendo's forum that people are very vocal about Blizzard games on the Blizzard forums that are, they're heavily moderated. They're monitored by Blizzard. Like Blizzard people are very vocal. They knew if they did not know that Diablo Immortal was going to go over like this, like Jesus Christ, these people are disconnected.
Yeah, and so like I say, I mean, I if it was a truly fan interacted, like, hey, we really told them and they listened, but I don't believe it was that. I believe they're like, I mean, when they were telling us that we don't need vanilla servers, when people were like, like, well, we're not hurting you. Because what people were doing is they were running their own private vanilla servers, and WoW was starting to find out, Blizzard was finding out and going, whoa, no. They were going to, I think they
private vanilla servers have been around for a long time.
Yeah. But then they found out, and I think they were threatening to either shut them down, or I think they were going to shut it, or basically just shut them down. And people are like, why? We're not hurting anything. Like, we're fans. We just want to play the harder version like it was in vanilla. We really and they're just like, no, you don't know what you want. You think like, don't insult somebody.
And maybe I'm still partially blinded by what Blizzard used to be, and I think maybe the writing's on the wall that old Blizzard's gone, and now it is truly Activision Blizzard, and all my beloved series and what I cared so much, like, is just going to be perverted and twisted to microtransaction, focus group tested, soulish cash grabs. I don't necessarily like cash grabs because I mean everything is to generate revenue, but the integrity that used to be there is slipping. This isn't the first time. But, friends make mistakes, and I can forgive friends. But sometimes they keep making the mistakes, and you got to make the call of like, do I keep forgiving this person? Like, I don't want to say this is my line in the sand on Immortal, but I am right now. I'm hurt and I'm upset by it. And I will continue to be vocal about this, and we'll see what happens and go from there. Maybe if they would have announced this another way, a different way, I don't know. Who knows? It is what it is. But then I did want to touch on the backlash. Mm-hmm. The backlash to the backlash, as it were. Because the backlash is the fans upset at Blizzard. And now we're dealing with the backlash to the backlash, which is the outside community. Again, the people who I say don't have any stake in this are now talking shit about the fan base. I don't know. Maybe I am coming off like an entitled baby, and I get no say in the matter, and whatever. I don't matter. Blizzard can do what they do. I disagree because as a consumer, I think my purchases matter, and I can pay. I won't buy Diablo Immortal as is. I don't know, but when we got people like Pat the NES Punk, fucking that a lot of people already know I don't have good things to say about him. I think he's a pompous, pretentious, self-righteous asshole. And the way he talks shit about, especially the fact that people who are watching his video when he was saying you're a bunch of babies, sit the fuck down and shut up. Like, he's talking directly to the people that watch his videos because they enjoy him as a commentator and a representative of the community as a whole. And he's sitting there talking shit about him. Like, and not even trying to understand where we're coming from. Like, because they got all triggered by the guy who asked if it was an April Fool's joke. And that's what got them all triggered and stuff. And I don't know, maybe instead of trying to understand why the fans are upset and what would lead people who, like I said, who paid hundreds of dollars, who flew potentially cross country or across the world to attend BlizzCon, like, why would they be upset? Like, why would they boo? Why would you pay all this money to go to the convention to boo? Because, like, there's not a good analogy. Like I said, I don't think people outside of the fandom can really understand, like, how I feel when it comes to this. But Pat just immediately, like, jumps and shits all over him, and everyone's, I don't know.
Okay, so which I find. I mean, I know you could just go on and on and on, and believe me, I'm here to.
I'll just go and
I'm here to throw a couple logs on the fire. Pat can go play with himself. He's done. He's trying. I guarantee you, the only reason he's saying this is because, hey, everybody, I need some more subs on my 14 videos a day. I need AdSense. Sorry, buddy, you're pretentious. You've already made yourself known throughout the years as being someone who, if you don't agree with me, then I'll block you on all my social media because I don't want to hear your opinion. Yeah. He is. If you want to talk about calling someone entitled babies, look in the mirror, pal. You sit there and whine to anybody that'll listen that people, I'm the original flea market madness guy. You guys should be bowing down to me. I started something. And then your videos are, low budget, which I'm not saying you have to spend a lot of money. I just mean like they are not that great. You try to format. You don't even make videos hardly. All you do is you run your podcast and then you chop it up. You're basically DSP gaming. Hey, I'm going to take this 1-2 hour session. I'm chop it up 15 times, so I get 20,000 views on 15 videos a day. No, you just put your podcast out like everyone else and man up.
Well, I don't necessarily bash his quality of his videos or quote unquote.
No, I don't mean the podcast. The podcast, I'm not. It's two guys sitting and talking like that. But I mean, I've seen some of his videos. The dude just doesn't know how to write a script. He's one of those people like, I could be a writer, and like, no, you couldn't. Just go back to.
I think the problem with Pat.
Work at.
I think I'm kind of getting off topic, but I think my main problem with Pat is he acts like he's involved with the community, with the industry, as it were.
And that's what I'm building towards.
But he doesn't play video games. He doesn't play modern games. Like,
yeah.
What's his credibility? He has a complete NES collection and some like retro collections, and he used to make videos about NES games. Like, why is he doesn't give a shit about Diablo? I mean, obviously he doesn't give a shit about Diablo. So why is he commenting on it? Like, you don't give a shit. Like, why talk shit about a fan base? Like, what
Simmer down, Stallion. Simmer down, Stallion.
But then you got all these people who are like, well, I've met Pat, and he's a really nice guy. Like,
lots of people are nice one-on-one. Lots of people. Everybody, there are probably abusers of every type out there. Like, oh no, they were really nice when I met them. I can't believe they abused their wives.
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, that's what I'm trying to say is like people, he's a nice guy. That's great. You had a good experience. Here he is in public format, crapping on people going, yeah, you're just a bunch of entitled babies. I don't know what you guys expected. Dude, go back and play your ColecoVision because that's all you know how to talk about. Nothing wrong with ColecoVision, but that's what you've built your reputation on is retro stuff. Don't, like you say, don't step into the modern gaming sphere and be like, I know games. And Ian, just like you told people, sit down and shut up. No, sit back down, you high fidelity reject. You're like the guys in High Fidelity, the movie, where you work in this used secondhand market and go, I knew these games were cool before you guys liked them. Go work in your used game store and sit down. Go deal with the people who want to haggle over Mario on Nintendo for 5 cents off. Don't sit here and try to tell people that play modern gaming, that keep up with it, and don't want to praise you in your retro godness. You guys can be cool in your own little sphere. And tell the people that, like you say, did you pay, hey, Pat, did you pay your $40 for your ticket that sold out? No? Okay. Did you pay hundreds of dollars to fly or drive to the event? No. Did you spend hundreds of dollars renting a hotel, food, everything else, getting merch and swag? No. I know people that I know what you want to say, well, who's he to say something? I get it. You can't stifle opinions, and that's not what we're trying to do.
That's not what I'm saying. Like,
but he didn't back it up. He just wanted to go, you people are entitled whiny babies because you didn't get what you wanted. Yeah, he's probably done the same thing, maybe not publicly. You've probably been like, man, I'm sure there's a couple of game series that he loves that eventually the company screwed up so bad you're like, this was a cash grab. But he won't admit it because that'll spite the conversation. He did it for views. He's a relic that can't he can't grow. He's not growing. I keep looking at his metrics all the time. Every now and then I'll be like, nope. Still has the same amount of subscribers, if not less, and the same viewer retention. And I'm not trying to do the whole, we're not one to talk. This isn't like your channel's not big enough. Who are you? But you don't know what you're talking about. And then and the worst of it is you don't even back up why we're in babies. You're just like, how dare you guys make a joke? Because he even made fun of the guy who said that went up and asked the question to the developers, is this an early out of place April Fool's joke? And they were like, who's that guy? How dare you say that? Yeah, that's a guy who actually pays money to play Diablo. Do you, Pat? Do you, Ian? I'm going to guess no on both accounts. So don't you dare judge that guy who's like super hardcore fan. And the other reason why they asked that, because Blizzard's known for doing some really good April Fool's jokes.
That too. Yeah,
they are really good about it.
Every year, like that is always like my highlight of April Fools actually is Blizzard's April Fool's jokes, because they do great stuff. They do great stuff. Now I share them too on social media when they do. But and I think to some extent, like just like anything else, whether it comes to like just personal views, morals, politics, like there's people who's just not gonna agree with me, who are just going to say that this company can do whatever the fuck they want, and I mean they totally can, but then they all say, well, the fan base, fuck the fan base, like they don't matter and shit, like you're just a dollar sign to a company. Anything past that is whatever, entitled baby. Like I just keep going to this entitled thing because I don't know. I don't think entitlement is not a right word.
Even if it was, you know what? We've paid for that entitlement. We didn't expect the entitlement. We paid for it. We've bought.
I would think so.
We've supported you through the years. Yeah, you wouldn't be a company if you didn't make good games and we paid you money. That's how it works. That's called consumerism. There was a demand for, that maybe even people didn't know about yet. And Blizzard came out, and which, to be fair, if people don't know the difference, Blizzard North and Blizzard Now, two very different companies.
Unfortunately. So
people, if you want to play a game made by the original Diablo team that made 1 and 2, and you like that style, play Torchlight 1 and 2, because that's Blizzard North. The people who left Blizzard and went, yep, this is going way too corporate, play Torchlight. I'm not saying replace Blizz or Diablo. With, if you like that and you want more from those original developers, Torchlight is what they made.
Sure. Yeah.
But no, the Blizzard Now is just a whole new bunch of fresh meat that Activision came in, probably said, look at all these millions of dollars we're dangling in front of you. And some guy went, okay, took it. The developers, the poor employees are just like, oh, okay. And now you got Bobby Kotick in there going, hey, Call of Duty team, teach them how we make
Kotick.
I could say some not choice words about him, but I won't.
Yeah. That's kind of funny too, is like, man, has that guy like gone under the radar? Like I remember.
Good, because normally when he opens his mouth, he's an idiot.
But I remember specifically, I think it was like the late like 2000s, like early, 2010, 2011, like he was like slandered like to the moon and back because of like all the shit that he was doing. Like, and it's barely like you ever even hear his name anymore. Like I actually hadn't heard like Kotick mentioned in a very long time until like this Diablo stuff came up and people started putting the spotlight back on Activision and the influence that they seem to be having. And, even if the company does shift, like, I don't know, I think as a fan of something, like I think we are justified in speaking our opinions and saying the things that we want. And ultimately, when this atrocity gets released, we speak with our dollars. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And we'll see if the community as a whole, votes one way or another. And anytime there's like one of these controversies, and this game gets released, there's gonna be a notable percentage of people who will buy this game out of spite. Like, oh, I'm gonna support this because they're fucking the fans, and that's the mentality that we have nowadays. It's like, all right, like, man, I would love to see like something like this happen, and then like the outside community like kind of they don't have to jump on board. They don't have to be like, yeah, you get get Blizzard, go get them, but just be like, oh man, that sucks. Like, I kind of. I'd be bummed out too. It is what it is. And that I could roll with that. But to have people just like fucking shit on us and all this, like, you know, when people are upset that, like I said, I can't even come up with analogies. Like that's why I keep trying to go to like Zelda and Mario, because like everybody like jerks off about those games all the time. But there's just not that level of integrity behind those series. Like they haven't been like as directly. I don't know. It's trying to compare apples to oranges, and
also you are right. The Diablo fan base is ravenous. They are hungry for their products. You know, the Blizzard fan, you know, they love what they have. I think, but they're also, I think when you have people that play PC more than they do their consoles, if at all, I think you have a lot more people that are more, I wouldn't say more enlightened or anything, but they tend to be a little bit more noticing of the flaws and how they shouldn't be there, where someone who just plays Zelda is just like, doesn't matter, a new Zelda game, all the dicks in their mouth and they're sucking them off and they don't care because it's just, it's a new Zelda. It just says Zelda. I don't care. It could be Zelda shitting simulator where it's just Link sitting on a toilet and pooping. And every time you push the button, he goes, what? And he poops and you win.
And I do
want
to buy it. I'm not trashing Zelda games. I'm not trashing the fan base.
It doesn't matter. I don't even care if I am or not. It's just the analogy to use to say.
I'm trying.
No one shits on the fan base of Zelda fans going, "Oh, you can't complain. You can't complain over there." What are you like? Those Four Sword series is probably the weaker entries, both of them, in the lineup of Zeldas, because they're like, oh, okay, it's kind of like a Zelda Mario Party. I don't know what's really going on here, but it's not really Zelda, but it is. You know, people were disappointed, but nobody went, "Shut up, you entitled crybabies! Get what you get." Like, no, okay, I just won't buy this one, and I'll show.
But at the same time, like the fan bases care, but I don't think people care to the level that the Blizzard community cares. Like,
but that's, it's like, I think the PC gamers, I think they care more because they can notice, like, you know, granted, it's not, obviously there's nothing fundamentally wrong with the mobile game. It's just more of like a slap in the face. Like, we were kind of hoping for Diablo 4 or something of that nature, maybe an expansion to Diablo 3, so, you know, that, no? Well, you want us to play this Chinese clone of Diablo on my phone.
Well, there is a problem with it being, okay, you're right. With it just being a mobile game, maybe not. Like, there is a problem because it's not PC and should be PC first. But like I said, it's not even Blizzard's game. It's a Chinese outside studio making this game. Like, it's.
But see, so no, this is where I would interject and go, if the fan base is that upset, show Blizzard with your dollars exactly where they can stick it. Yes. And everybody should not buy, you know, but you can't ever get a whole fan base because there's always gonna be like, screw it, dude, I don't care. Just like Fallout. I'm not supporting Fallout 76 because I'm waiting to get more. Yeah. Fix your game, add some things that people are saying are missing, whatever, and maybe I'll give you my money. But until then, you're not getting a dime of my money. So what people should do is, you know what? Go to the I forget who the company is that makes what's that Diablo clone that's free to play?
Path of Exile.
Thank you. Why doesn't the whole community go, hey, Path of Exile guys, we're willing to give you a lot of our money if you make, like, you know, whatever, make a new game or something. We like this. We like the clicky and the abilities and the Diablo-esque style. We like this. You obviously know this. You made a whole free game that's amazing and huge. Make us something, because obviously Activision is screwing with Blizzard, and we're not going to get what we want.
Path of Exile is still supported. Like, they've released expansions, and
it's completely free, but 100% free.
They have microtransactions and stuff in the game too.
Free.
I don't know what extent.
Even Jim Sterling said, if it's free to play, I have less to bitch about when you have microtransactions.
True. And I don't know. I don't know if Immortal is going to be free or not. That maybe that information's out there, but I don't know that.
I don't know either.
I don't even care that. That is the least of my concerns when it comes to all of this.
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't know. It's upsetting.
So, but I mean, so my final thought. I mean, like me, I'm not as a hardcore fan as Church is. I mean, I've played every Diablo. I own one on PlayStation. I have 3 on my PC. I have 3 on my PS4. I had it on PS3. You know, it's for me. It's more of like I like the Diablo style. It's something you can couch co-op easily. You know, whatever. You know, for the older, it's just something I can sit on the couch and truly like just brain dead because all I have to do is keep mashing the buttons. So, but you know, as far as like Blizzard loyalty, I don't care. If tomorrow I find out Bandai Namco made Diablo 4, as long as it played and looked good, I'd be like, boom, Diablo 4, here we go, bang a gong.
Sure.
So, but I respect those people that have their fandoms. You know, when you have a series you love, like me, after watching Jim Sterling's video, sorry for making this all about Jim Sterling, folks listening, like Dynasty Warriors 9. I bought it. It's never been opened because I watched his review first, and he loves Dynasty Warrior Series 2. I know Church can't stand him, and that's fine. He's wrong, but that's fine. Just kidding. But I literally, I love that series. Again, it's another mindless, just keep mashing the button and racking up kills and whatever and leveling up. It's the grind. But he's like, look at this. I'm watching him play the game for like 20 minutes, and he's just like, there's nothing here. It's an open sandbox Dynasty Warriors, and now it's crap. It's garbage. What'd they do? Why'd they do this? I have not opened my copy.
But people
I won't
will say,
sell it, but
people will say, well, you gave them your money.
Yeah, no, and I did, but I didn't know beforehand. I was just like, boom, don't care. More of the same for me with better graphics. Cool. Sure. But and it was too late. I already had my copy in my hand by the time I saw his review, and I was like, crap. And I even, you know, a lot of retail places, if there's not a reason to return it, like, hey, look, it's got a knife in the middle of the disc, you know, or it's not fun. They'll be like, you can trade for another one. You can't actually get your money back unless it was like a gift or something, I think. But
so I guess for me, I want to kind of wrap up the Diablo Immortal thing because I could rant about this for days and go in circles and stuff.
Sure.
Ultimately, for the people out there who think, you know, Blizzard, do what they want, you know, whatever. If they make a mobile game, that's their prerogative and stuff. You know, fine. You got your opinions, but just think about if it was something that you like were invested in, like the it's just a game thing. I think is misguided. I think it's a very it doesn't make sense because we love video games. This is what we do. Like we care about this stuff. That's why we play these games and, you know, hours and hours, and like us collectors, that's why we collect these, because this is what we love. So to say it's just a game is like dismissing this thing that we care about. And I think that's
well, and to add on to the tail of that, if you're someone who makes any type of money off talking about video games, how dare you just go like, Pat, it's just a video game. Oh, really? What is your podcast based upon? Are you talking about politics and world issues? No, you're talking about video games, motherfucker. You're making your money. I'm not saying all of your money, but you're making some type of income from talking about them, and then just go, just a video game. Screw you, you hypocrite.
Ultimately, it's anything. Like, what about these people that like, you know, they'll stand in their living room and they'll watch these guys play this thing, and then like, oh, I'll jump up and, you know, flip tables and high five their buddies and shit. You know, sports, like it's just some guys just playing a fight. It's just a game. Like,
yep.
It's. I think it's an asshole thing to say. It's completely dismissive, and it doesn't benefit any conversation. I know some of my friends that are going to listen to this have said some of these things. Like, I don't have anything against you. I can't word this effectively where I'm not like saying some sort of negative thing, because I'm not trying to start shit with anybody. Just take a moment to step back and kind of, you know, see why these people are upset, and maybe, you know, these are the communities that we're involved with. Like, you know, I would like all game companies to be great game companies and make great games and care about their fans, and I think that's something that we can always dream of and hope for. And what's so wrong about that? Like, why do we have to say, you know, oh, corporations, you know, let them be their own entities and do whatever the fuck they want, and if they fuck over people, like, that's fine because they're businesses and they can. let's try to have a higher standard and make integrity great again.
I'm the opposite. I'll fight any of you other friends that are pissed off and disagree. He won't, but I will. I'll take a spot. You want to online fight? Let's go. You want to have a debate? You want to have a debate? Let's talk. Like, I don't mean like, let's go in the streets and punch each other. No, physical violence is not the answer. I just mean like, no one is wrong or right. It's just back up what you say. Don't stand from a lofty tower of ivory going, you entitled whiny little babies. Be like, well, where are you? Why are you forming that opinion of us? Well, because that's what you are. No. You don't just say, I hate vanilla ice cream. You have to give a reason. Why don't you like vanilla ice cream? Well, XY's there. That's what we're looking for. Don't call us entitled babies and just go, because I said so. That doesn't work. That's not how this works. And that's why I say certain people on certain sites are saying that. They're like, yeah, I agree with the major corporate. These guys are just whiny entitled babies. They're saying that so they can get, that's because look at who people that are clipping those people saying that. That's the only thing out of like maybe an hour long or 2 hour podcast that are like, the rest of the podcast was boring as hell. But this guy said this about us. Sure. That's all people are clipping. So you said it. You had to have said it to get clickbait views.
Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say they talked about it because of the clickbait views.
I think so.
I mean, I'm sure there are people that do. I don't know if Pat. I wouldn't say Pat necessarily did it. Maybe he did.
Oh, yeah, he did.
I don't know. But hot takes. I don't know. Like back a hot take. If you're gonna have a hot take, back it at least. But then again, like I said, we're all part of the same community. Like why is it all gotta be vitriol towards one another? Like, everybody knows themselves. Like companies aren't looking out for us, so like let's look out for each other and back each other or something. I don't know. And at the same time, I know like just sometimes people just fundamentally have different viewpoints on things that won't change. Like I don't want to go on for this much longer. I actually want to wrap this up. But like me and Justin, we've had some like political discussions before, and we will never agree on a thing because we have different views on it, and that's fine, and we can debate about it, but we're not sitting there calling each other names.
Yeah.
Sit the fuck down, fucking. Who the fuck are you? Like Pat and Ian were. Like it's. I don't know. When we have these discussions, like we try to have a discussion, like even a debate. We're not just talking shit to each other and name calling. Like we try to understand. And like even Justin will like force. He's like, you're gonna say this, you explain. Like just like you were saying, like you gotta back what you're talking about. If you don't like vanilla ice cream, like why? Like don't just say just because. Like back your shit. And sometimes I've had to back down from discussions because I didn't have the ability to back what I was saying. And that's
it's fine to be emotional about things. It's but I think more of the emotion is coming from the fans, not the critics of the fans.
Yeah.
Because obviously if you're a critic of the fans, you're just like, look at these little babies. Wow. You man childs. Yeah. And the fans are just like you, like you've explained, like you spent the first 10 minutes of your, of your Blizzard talk. It wasn't just you going, all right, I got the mic, I got the power, you're going to listen to every word I say. No, I could feel like you're like, dude, I feel wronged. I feel betrayed from what this company's doing to me and giving me some handheld crap. But like you say, that's going to be my final words on it. Yeah, because you want to move on. Otherwise, we'll be here for another 2 hours.
Easily. I think. Did you want to share any thoughts about PS1 Classic, or should we move on?
I could go on for a little bit about that, not too long, but I'll just say my thing. So I made a post on my Facebook. I only have one Facebook page, and I was watching videos the other day at work because it was slow and. It was funny. I was watching like Metal Jesus and other people like that were like, the reason why I'm canceling my pre-orders. So I made a post because I was seeing in a lot of the comments of their videos or the video presenters themselves saying, yeah, well, what the reasons for canceling, that's fine. That's their own. I don't mean anybody shouldn't have to buy something they don't like. You know what? I'm not impressed. I won't spend my money. Perfect. That's fine. That's your money. But they were all saying the same thing. A lot of the comments, a lot of the people were all saying two of the same things. I'll wait to see if someone learns to mod it, much like the NES Classic and the Super Nintendo Classic, where, hey, boom, cracked it, load it up, baby. they were saying, I'll buy it if they crack it, but until they do, I'll just play my Raspberry Pi. I'm going to let you guys soak that in a little bit, and I'm gonna wait to see if I can put more ROMs on a ROM machine, but until then, I'll just play my ROMs I have.
On the ROM machine that I already have.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of, and there's been a point in time where I've said, hey, I hope we can hack this, but that's not my breaking point, whether or not I will buy this or not. Because
no, and that's why I say if they don't think like a couple of my friends, they thought I was like calling the people canceling the pre-orders dumb, and it was like, no, I think the double, the wait for ROMs, I'll play my ROMs. I was like that sounds stupid to me.
Kind of silly.
And a couple of my friends kind of almost got upset at me. They're like, I don't have to buy the PS Classic. I'm like, but I didn't say anybody had to. I didn't say these people are dumb because they're canceling. Like, and don't let anybody tell you that the value of the games on the PS Classic doesn't add up. Intelligent Cube is literally like $40-$50. That's half the system right there for 1 out of 20 games. So if you think the value, and I know people, well, digital's different. Like, oh, get out of here. Then why did you pay $1,000 for Little Samson? Get out of my face. When you could have easily emulated that game for free $99. So,
yep.
Okay, but that was it. Just I thought that was funny how.
Sure.
Yep.
So then, kind of still on the topic of PS1 Classic, we'll move into the community question. Last episode we had talked about kind of what we thought could make for maybe a better PS1 Classic. We just to 20 like random essential picks essentially to kind of cover different genres, and the question went out is, what games would you pick to have on your PS1 Classic? And we got some responses. I just kind of want to run through theirs. If you want to hear what we thought, of course, go and listen to that episode. So we had some mentions. Do You Nerd had talked about having Crash, Spyro, Tomb Raider, and Twisted Metal, and how 3/4 of those practically mascots in the old commercials.
Mm-hmm.
They mentioned stuff like Metal Gear Solid and Siphon Filter, Final Fantasy VII, Legend of Dragoon, Wild Arms for the RPG crowd, Alundra, Legacy of Kain for the RPGs with action, Symphony of the Night. And they're kind of commenting on some of the stuff we were talking about. But they said honorable mention, had there been a DualShock, totally Ape Escape.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Then we had Black Metal Gamer said for PS1 shooters, he'd pick Alien Trilogy and Final Doom. JRPGs like Dragon Quest VII, Suikoden 1 and 2, Final Fantasy IX, Legend of Legaia. Platformers, stuff like Pandemonium, Action, the game 1. Horror, he said Resident Evil 2 is a must. Adventure games, Blazing Dragons or Discworld. Sony games like Warhawk, Twisted Metal 2. Fighters like Street Fighter 3, Tobal No. 1, Urgies, or Ergites.
Yeah, however you say it, yeah.
Ergites.
Once you're done, I have a little injection in that add on that.
Okay. Well, that was it for Black Metal Gamer's comment.
So one of the things I was hearing, because it was funny as you were listening, like he was listing off games. I'm just like, seems like our fan base is kind of like the similar mindset of us, like more RPG. Like that's why I said I'm like, we can't make this into the PS1 Classic RPG box. I mean, yeah, it's cool to think of, but
that would be an instant sell. Think about it, if they did put out like the PS1 Classic RPG edition, that was 20 fucking PS1 RPGs. Like you could almost pick like any 20 PS1 RPGs, and that. But
someone would still bitch about the list. Like it's not what I would put on there. Like there could be 30 RPGs, and the 10 that didn't make it, someone would be pissed at the 10 that
doesn't have
didn't
Kingsfield. I'm not buying it.
Exactly. Like Jesus.
I know that's jokes, but yeah, but for sure.
So and this is not a blow against him. It was just kind of more of like he didn't think his script out. So one of the videos I was watching was that Metal Jesus. and he was like, I don't understand why Crash or Spyro wasn't on here. That should be a no-brainer.
And we covered that.
Yeah,
like
and
go ahead.
Sorry. So it was just like, and so he says like, I don't, it goes, yeah, I understand that they just did the HD remakes on the PS4 and the other stuff, so maybe that's why they didn't want to do it, but I just don't get why those were on there. But then later, he makes a point to say that, I don't, why isn't, the first Resident Evil is great, but they should have really put Resident Evil 2 on here with the remake coming out. It's like, you don't understand why they didn't put the other ones because they got remade, but why wouldn't you couple in Resident Evil 2 because they are remaking it? And it's kind of like, I just was like, you got to be kidding me. Did he just say that? This marketing technique, no idea why they're doing that. This one, well, that makes sense. Why didn't they do that? Like, So that was my add-on. Sorry.
Sure. Let's see. Then we also had BioPhoenix had left a comment, and he's commenting a lot of about what we had mentioned and kind of like how he understood some of like the licensing issues in the HD games being released recently. But he does think stuff that was odd, like Twisted Metal 2 instead of Twisted Metal 1, Roll Away instead of Mr. Driller, or Medal of Honor instead of Rainbow Six. Like, yeah, I think totally makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, questionable. Like, who? I would be interested to know like how they came to the decisions that they did for the games that they picked. But kind of is what it is.
I think off the cuff, really. I saw a lot of people I saw say this too. This is a cash grab. I wouldn't call it a cash grab. I mean, yeah, it is. In retrospect, but the thing is, they don't have to try. They've been one of the first consoles to have like almost their like expansive libraries digitally available on their own platforms. Like Sony's had that like Sony Verse or whatever. I mean, it's a subscription base, but you get like access to like all these PS1 and PS2 games. Like, hey, you want to play all these games? Fine, just pay us like $20 a month to rent, and then you can play these as you want. They've had a bigger, faster library than Xbox and Nintendo. Nintendo is literally like finally getting it. Like, how long did it take for them to put up all the old and not even all of them NES games and Super Nintendo games?
20 at launch, anyways, or whatever.
Like for back in the Wii days and stuff, it was just like it should have taken one dude a weekend to go, oh, you want to be able to have these all emulated on the Wii and pay. Oh, hold on, click, done. The entire NES library is ready to be downloaded and behind a paywall. But they're like, no, we're just gonna start like 5 here or there. Like, what? You're losing money by the minute here, folks, because people are gonna be downloading Mario. Yeah. Anyway, I get the concept though. Like, well, I'm already paying for online Sony already, and then I have to pay more to play the old games. But like, well, depends on how much money you want to throw around. Yeah, but they've had a bigger library for longer.
Yeah. So that was it for comments for that. So in relation to the Diablo Immortal discussion, I want to hear, and I've heard some of your thoughts. I know some listeners that were involved in some of the same sources and discussions on that, but I would like to hear some of your thoughts as you listen to the things that I was kind of talking about, because especially when I tried to talk about kind of like the fan base and what Blizzard means to the fan base and the games mean to like Diablo fans, like that I don't know if that stuff was, I don't think it's necessarily assumed by the people talking about this. So I kind of wanted to present that angle to it. Try to, the Diablo we are people and we have feelings, kind of stuff. But what are your thoughts on after I've kind of like tried to speak my piece about it? Do your thoughts are your thoughts any different? Do you still think I am an entitled baby? And it's fine if you do. It is what it is, I guess. But let me hear your thoughts. I want to hear a little bit more to it than just like, oh yeah, no, you're still an entitled baby. I mean, if that's all you got to say about it, I guess that's fine. But let me hear let's kind of get a little discussion. I don't know how much more I can go on about this, but let me know your thoughts. Did I sway you at all?
If not, I'll fight you.
So then with that said, just want to quickly look at the games coming out in the next couple weeks here, see what else we got to look forward to besides cash grab, Fallout, and Diablo ports and whatever. So yeah, Fallout 76 is out already. One game I want to mention that I've kind of shouted out before, I think on the podcast, I'm not sure, is this game called Underworld Ascendant. Just came out for PC. Kind of really reminds me of Might and Magic Dark Messiah. Check it out. It's neat. I haven't heard much about it. I haven't really looked at any reviews because it's a game that I'm interested in checking out. So yeah, there's that. Got the, of course, it's out now. We're a couple days behind from when we would have talked about this. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. I know some of my friends have picked that up. Battlefield 5. I thought that was already out.
Which one?
Battlefield 5?
No, I don't believe so.
Oh, okay. So that comes out on the 20th. Switch is getting a Warframe port. Darksiders 3 on the 27th. Artifact, which, hey, Artifact didn't get booed at Valve's conference, but that is the Dota 2 card game, kind of like Hearthstone. So that's a thing. And then looks like there is a Katamari Damacy reroll for the Switch on the 30th. So that is what you got to look forward in the next couple weeks. I'm sure everybody is quite busy with the releases that we've had as of late.
The Switch got one thing I was kind of like ticked off about that they get that we don't.
What's
and it's that SNK like 40th anniversary thing. I was like, oh, cool, it's a thing. I'm gonna look up. No, just the Switch. I'm like, sorry, PS4.
Yeah.
I was like, that looks. There's so many good. Like even Crystalis is on that. I'm like, come on.
Yep. Oh well, maybe we'll get a port eventually.
Maybe.
Who knows? I'm not gonna demand it. Like Switch people are like, Switch port or I don't buy. But then again, it's like, well, if they're not going to make it for the Switch and you only have a Switch, of course you're not going to buy it.
Exactly. If it doesn't get made for the one system I have, then you're out my $40.
SNK 40th anniversary collection for the PS4, or I'm not going to buy it. Like, yeah, of course I'm not going to buy it because I don't have a Switch. But yeah, so there's that. Be interested to know if anybody's picking up any of those games. But then with that said, what do you got coming up in the next couple weeks?
Family. Obviously,
this coming
week we got Thanksgiving, so I'll be going up north. It's about 3.5-4 hour drive up north to my family. So I'll spend some time with them. Haven't seen them in a while. I'm coming to the end of my semester, so got whatever tests or whatever I got to do to be a good student and start signing up for my next year. So yeah, it's going to be busy doing adult stuff, but I'm going to try to pop in some more Dragon Quest. Yeah, because like my grandma, luckily she kind of goes to bed somewhat early and I stay with her when I go up north. So I'm like, well, she finally got a newer TV that has HDMI. I might bring my PS4 and play Dragon Quest till 2 in the morning.
There you go.
So that'll probably be mostly what I'm doing until I get back. And then Cyber Monday, Black Friday, going to try to scour. I haven't really seen much for the game deals.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like Walmart and Target, they usually put out their ads like, oh, hey, this is kind of what we got going for the cheap bin. But definitely going to try to pick up a lot of Blu-rays because Black Friday and Cyber Monday are great times to pick up cheap Blu-rays. So
awesome.
That's pretty much my plan for the next week and a half, yeah.
Cool. Me, it's, I guess, more of the same. Red Dead 2, still trucking along in that. Now I'm playing a little bit of the VR stuff and also playing a little bit of Fallout 76. Everything's kind of secondary to Red Dead. That's still my main focus right now. Besides that, trying to get some more videos out. Got another pickup video coming soon. Possibly a book review in a few weeks. That's about it. So
Excellent.
and I think with that, just let everybody who's still listening let you know how you can get a hold of us if you're trying to get a hold of us, or where you can find us. Of course, the podcast is on SoundCloud, also available on YouTube, iTunes. You can add it to any podcast app that you have. Just look up the Game Tenants Podcast. If you are trying to get a hold of me, I am on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Just look up the Game Grinder and you will find me. If you want to get a hold of Justin, leave a comment, message me. I can pass it along. Do what you got to do, but you can get a hold of us if you need to. So then I think with that said, that is going to do it for this episode of the Game Tenants Podcast. Have a great Thanksgiving. Great day if you don't have Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you next time.
Game on.